Excuse me, do you know anything about Greek mythology?
Well, I do know a little bit. In fact, I've written some books about it. Yeah.
Wait, you're Rick Riordan.
That's me, yeah.
Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Caroline. So, can I ask you some questions?
Oh yeah, sure, Caroline, no problem.
How did you figure out you wanted to write about the gods?
Yeah, well, I've always liked mythology. When I was in middle school, that was my favorite subject when we had English class. I always loved reading those old stories. But then I became a teacher, and I like to teach it as well. I taught middle school, and my students always loved them. But writing about it, I didn't really think about it until I had my son, and when he was about 8 years old, he really got into it, and I started telling him bedtime stories, and that's where The Lightning Thief came from.
So you told these stories to your son, and is that how you got the idea to write?
Yeah, I just made up Percy Jackson off the top of my head one night, and it took me about 3 nights to tell him the whole story. I just made it up as I went along, and then he said, "Dad, that was pretty good. You ought to write it down." And so I did, and next thing I knew, I had a book.
So you've written about Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology. Is there something in common with all of them?
The thing that mythology has in common is that we want to believe in things that are bigger than us. We want to see really big, huge stories. We like superheroes, and the gods and the heroes, they were our first superheroes. They're really powerful, but they also have failings and flaws, just like we do, and that makes them really interesting. So I think that's true whether you're talking about the Norse myths or the Egyptian or the Greek. And just recently we started an imprint, like a small publishing company within Disney called Rick Riordan Presents. And it brings in authors from all kinds of backgrounds to write about the mythologies that they grew up with. Like for instance, Hindu mythology is amazing, but I don't know it that well and I didn't grow up with it. So we found this fantastic author, Roshni Chokshi, who is Hindu and knows these myths and really wanted to do a book with a bunch of humor and action and stuff like Percy Jackson, but with the stories she grew up with. So in fact, she used the Carlos Museum as inspiration for a museum that's in her books. And the first one is called Aru Shah and the End of Time.
I played Artemis in one of our little segments. Can you elaborate on her?
Oh, right, I can see that. You would make a good Artemis. Are you a natural archer?
Yeah, I played on the phone.
Excellent, very good. Yeah, Artemis is awesome. I really like her because she's a free spirit and she does her own thing. And she doesn't hang out with the other gods very much because she knows, you know, they can be jerks, and she's right. So she is just out in the woods doing her thing, hunting with her band of friends. She's kind of like a Greek Robin Hood almost, you know?
Yeah,
she's just sort of out on her own. I love her, but she's the goddess of the moon, she's the goddess of the hunt, and she's the protector of young ladies. You know, if you were a young lady and you needed somebody on your side, she was the one you would pray to.
Do you think what you read as a kid influenced how you write now?
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine being where I am now without reading what I read as a kid. I think every time you read a book, you sort of expand your soul a little bit. It's like you become a better person, seriously, because you learn more and you sort of have more space to sort of exercise your imagination.
Thank you for joining us for our Kids Do interview.
Thank you.
It was nice having you.
Yeah, and nice talking with you.
Well, back to you guys.